Right now, it is the king of sports, the expert of experts. It's time for a conversation with the one, the only Steve Clarke. We're going to inside the game. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Ron. You know, the NFL draft, a very successful one for Dave's Ohio State Buckeyes. 11 players were selected in the 7-round draft to lead all schools. Second consecutive year that the Buckeyes had at least 10 players drafted. 25 in the last 2 years ties a record for most drafted from one school, Dave.
And 4 out of the top 11. Now, I know that wasn't a record, but it tied, right. I think, a trio of teams that had done that. So, not bad.
Not exactly the order you would have thought. Carnell Tate going first, followed by Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Caleb Downs. And Ron's going to be happy to hear that the Cleveland Browns had one of the better drafts in all of football over the weekend, trading down from number 6 overall to number 9. And they still secured their number 1 guy that they wanted at left tackle, Spencer Fano from Utah. With a struggling passing game last season, the Browns' next 2 picks were well-known and productive receivers, Casey Concepcion from Texas A&M and Washington's Denzel Burke. I just happened to have seen both play in person last year. Both are high-volume guys with deep threat potential.
That's good to know, because a lot of times when you get picked by the Browns, that's pretty much the end of your career, right?
It's a good possibility, Ron. You know all too well how that works. And another team that has struggled in that area is the Detroit Lions. They got 2 big needs with their first 2 picks. Offensive tackle Blake Miller from Clemson and edge rusher Derek Moore from Michigan. Moore will join All-Pro and former Wolverine Aiden Hutchinson on the other side. And the Lions weren't done drafting Michigan players, taking linebacker Jimmy Rolder in the 4th round. People in the state of Michigan, well, they're not used to seeing the Wolverines being drafted by Lions. They drafted only 1 Michigan player between 1988 and 2015, and some season ticket holders who happen to be Michigan State fans aren't happy about it. Moore and Rolder represent the 5th and 6th time a Wolverine was selected by Detroit this century. Having 3 Michigan starters on the Lions defense is causing some Michigan State graduates to reconsider their season ticket purchases, if you can believe that.
Well, and maybe unlike other years, I don't think the Detroit Lions are going to have a hard time filling those seats at this point. So I think it's okay.
No. Speaking of filling seats, how about Pittsburgh breaking Detroit's all-time attendance record for attending the NFL draft with 800,000 people attending? It may not last that long. Washington, D.C. is hosting next year, and they plan to be at the D.C. Mall. If you don't know what the D.C. Mall is, that's that strip of land from the west at the Lincoln Memorial that goes all the way east to the Capitol building. It's a long swath of land, and they're expecting 1 million people next year to be at the NFL draft. And as a friend and a partner on the Professor and the Pundit podcast that I co-host likes to point out, we live in a society, gentlemen, where nearly 1 million people will gather in one place to watch men read an index card once every 10 minutes.
Wow. I thought you had misquoted. 800,000 showed up for this draft?
In Pittsburgh.
My goodness.
When you account for the 3-day weekend.
Right. 800,000.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday drafts, 800,000 people, and they're expecting 1 million in D.C., all to watch men read an index card once every 10 minutes and go bananas.
Gotta love it, yeah.
So when they're on the mall in Washington, can you get on like one of those rafts and just be in the reflecting pool and do all your reporting from there?
No, I'm not exactly sure where in this, 1.5-mile location they'll be able to do that. But yeah, I guess, somebody could have a tiki bar in the reflecting pool. I don't know. It seems kind of sacrilegious, with all the memorials nearby. But again, that's where we're at. I'm not complaining, but I think I probably should be complaining. You know what I mean? It just it doesn't seem right. Speaking of what doesn't seem right, in the NBA, the Detroit Pistons have a pivotal Game 4 in Orlando tonight, which is where I'm at this weekend.
Nice. Oh.
The 8-seeded Magic are up 2-1. If the Magic win tonight, they'll lead the series 3-1, and the NBA has a very scant history of teams making up a 3-1 deficit. However, if the Pistons win, they'll even the series at 2, reclaim home court advantage. And number 8 seeds have only beaten number 1 6 times in NBA history, most recently in 2023 when Miami upset the Milwaukee Bucks. Meanwhile, Cleveland lost last night to Toronto 93-89. The series tied at 2 games apiece, with the series shifting back to Cleveland for Game 5, guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd think they would have beaten them, but it doesn't work out that way. And even though they got some new talent on the team, and I think this could be said for just about all the MLB teams right now, they're giving young pitchers their shot up there now, even though it's kind of risky. It's early in the season. There's a lot of baseball to get to.
There is a lot of baseball to get to. It didn't even make my rundown of things to talk about today, but I don't know where even the Indians stand right now, Ron. Where are they at?
They're right up there. I was like number 1, and the Tigers are number 2, or they were tied there for a while. So, I mean, the standings don't mean a whole lot yet, I don't think, but it's good to see at least these players step out and get on the right footing. I know the Tigers had a really strong open, and then they slipped for a while, then they're back on top again. So it's just kind of fun to watch, and there's so many other things happening in sports right now that, not a lot of attention on baseball yet.
Not just yet, but Ron, I'll try to make you happy in the next few weeks if I can get to it. I know you want to talk about it. Before I get out of here, got to talk about a huge threshold broken at the London Marathon, where 2 runners broke the sub 2-hour barrier. Now, this is like, remember when Roger Bannister cracked the 4-minute mile, the sub 4-minute mile, and what that means? It is just as big, although nobody's probably really talking about, in the world of running, having a sub 2-hour marathon. Unbelievable. Sebastian Saw of what country, Ron?
Wow, somewhere foreign.
Come on, Ron. What country?
He's in England, isn't he?
Well, no, the marathon was in England, but where was the runner from?
Somewhere outside of England. I don't know.
All right. So, Dave, take heart. He's no better than you guys in trivia.
Yeah.
Dave, would you like to give a shot at your imperfect streak?
South Africa.
All right, New Zealand.
No. Kenya.
Oh, Kenya, of course. Yeah.
That was my next answer.
Kenya. All right. The futility continues.
Yeah, that's it.
9:30.
Really bad.
That's right.
But 2 of them did it, not just 1, huh? So
right, and the second guy, no one's going to remember his name, let alone pronounce it.
Right.
But the Ethiopian also came in at sub 2 hours, and he will be forgotten in history because he was 11 seconds shy at 1:59.41.
You imagine he goes subpar 2 hours and loses. And loses. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Clarke, thanks for taking us inside the game on this Monday.